Hello and welcome to Scarlet Reveries, your home for the vast lore of Middle-earth. In the world of the Lord of the Rings, the wizard's staff is an iconic image. We see both Gandalf and Saruman wielding them to channel incredible power. But this raises a fundamental question. How important is a wizard's staff to their use of magic? Is it the very source of their power, a crucial conduit, or merely a symbol of their station? Today we delve into the texts of J.R.R. Tolkien and the memorable moments from the films to uncover the truth behind these powerful artifacts. It's also important to note that the staves were unique to their wielders, reflecting their nature and purpose. While Gandalf's and Saruman's staves appeared more traditional, think of Radagast the Brown. His staff, as described in Tolkien's writings and shown in the films, was like a living branch of a tree, reflecting his deep connection to the animals and forests of Middle-earth. This suggests the staves aren't interchangeable tools, but deeply personal artifacts tied to each wizard's specific role and powers. Throughout the Lord of the Rings, there are strong indications that a wizard's staff is, at the very least, perceived as a significant weapon. When Gandalf and his companions arrive at Meduseld, the Golden Hall of Rohan, Hama the Door Ward insists they surrender their weapons. Gandalf skillfully sidesteps this, saying, "You would not part an old man from his walking stick?" He's allowed to keep his staff, a decision that clearly infuriates Grima Wormtongue. This suggests that Wormtongue, likely informed by his master Saruman, knows the staff is more than just a walking aid. He fears what Gandalf can do with it in his hand, and perhaps rightfully so. The nature of magic in Middle-earth is more elemental and subtle than in many other fantasy worlds. While it's not a matter of casting explicit spells with a wand, the staff does appear to help a wizard focus their innate power for a specific purpose. Wizards seem to use their staves to channel and possibly amplify their powers. To add a layer of deep lore, we must remember who the wizards, or Istari, truly are. They are Maiar, angelic beings, clothed in the flesh of old men. Their mission in Middle-earth came with a crucial restriction. They were forbidden from matching Sauron's power with their own or dominating the free peoples. Their full power was intentionally veiled. The staff may therefore serve as a vital instrument to help them channel their immense innate power in a controlled, focused manner, allowing them to work within the rules of their mission without unleashing their full, terrifying nature. The most dramatic example of this is the fall of Saruman. After the Battle of the Hornburg, Gandalf confronts Saruman at the Tower of Orthanc. When Saruman refuses to repent, Gandalf casts him out of the Order of Wizards, declaring, "Saruman, your staff is broken." The staff in Saruman's hand shatters. This act was deeply symbolic, stripping Saruman of his rank and authority as the head of the Order. But was it more than just symbolic? Interestingly, even without his staff, Saruman retains a measure of his power. The ultimate proof of this lies in his most insidious and potent ability: his voice. Tolkien describes Saruman's voice as a subtle enchantment, a power of persuasion so great that it could sway the hearts and minds of all but the strongest-willed. This power required no staff, no gestures. It came from within his very being. It was this power, not magic from a staff, that allowed him to corrupt Theoden from afar, and later take control of the Shire as the petty tyrant Sharky. Interestingly, even without his staff, Saruman retains a measure of his power. He later uses his persuasive voice to take control of the Shire as the petty tyrant Sharky. This proves that the staff was not the sole source of his abilities, but its destruction marked a critical loss of his official power and status. We see the staff used as a potent tool numerous times. When Gandalf is imprisoned by Saruman atop Orthanc, he uses his staff to summon the great eagle, Gwaihir, to his rescue. At the bridge of Khazad-dûm, he strikes his staff upon the stone, shattering the bridge to cast down the Balrog, though in the process, his staff also breaks. This leads to a powerful counterpoint. Gandalf's epic battle with the Balrog, which raged from the lowest dungeon to the highest peak, was fought without his staff. He ultimately defeated Durin's Bane, a fellow Maya of immense power, with his sword Glamdring and his own inherent strength. If the staff was absolutely essential, one would think he'd be helpless against such a foe. His victory proves that a wizard's true power lies within. A critical piece of evidence here is that Gandalf has had two different staves. His first, a natural wooden staff crowned with a crystal, was lost when he fell fighting the Balrog. When he was sent back to Middle-earth, reborn as Gandalf the White, he carried a new, pristine white staff. This change is highly symbolic. The new staff represents his elevated rank and renewed purpose, a visible sign of his new authority as the head of the Order of Wizards. It was likely given to him by the Valar themselves, reinforcing the idea that the staff is a badge of his divine commission, not just a tool he crafted. This brings us to one of the most debated scenes, the confrontation between Gandalf and the Witch-king of Angmar. In Peter Jackson's Return of the King, the scene is terrifying. The Witch-king confronts Gandalf, boasting that his hour has come. He then raises his hand and Gandalf's staff explodes into splinters, leaving the wizard seemingly powerless. This moment was created for the film to elevate the Witch-king's threat level, making Eowyn's later victory even more impactful. The book, however, paints a very different picture. When the Witch-king rides through the shattered gates of Minas Tirith, he is met by Gandalf alone on Shadowfax. Tolkien writes, "You cannot enter here," said Gandalf, and the huge shadow halted. "Go back to the abyss prepared for you. Go back. Fall into the nothingness that awaits you and your master. Go." The Black Rider flung back his hood. From a mouth unseen there came a deadly laughter. "Old fool, this is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain." And with that he lifted high his sword, and flames ran down the blade. But Gandalf did not move. He sat steadfast and unafraid. In that very moment, the horns of Rohan echoed in the distance, and the Witch-king, distracted by this new threat, flew off to command his armies. Gandalf's staff never broke. He never wavered. He faced down the Lord of the Nazgul, not with a display of explosive magic, but with sheer, unyielding spiritual authority. So where does that leave us? All the evidence suggests that a wizard's staff is a powerful and important tool, but not an absolute necessity. It acts as a focus, an amplifier, and a symbol of office. Losing it is a significant blow, both practically and symbolically. However, a wizard's true might, especially one like Gandalf, comes from their inner spirit, their wisdom, and their connection to the divine powers that shape the world. The strength of Tolkien's wizard is not in the staff he leans on, but in the faith that nourishes his soul. But now, it's time for you to weigh in. What's your take on the wizard's staff? Is it an essential weapon, a powerful symbol, or just part of the classic wizard look? Let us know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this journey into the lore of Middle-earth, please hit the like button, subscribe to Scarlet Reveries, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.